Bluegrass Cycling Club is proud to support Bike Talk as an underwriter for Lexington Community Radio. For more information, you may visit bgcycling.net. Hi, I'm your host, Wanda Bertram. Today we're joined by Amelia Neptune. Amelia is with the League of American Bicyclists, and she's the Executive Director of Bicycle Friendly America. It's a great program which is having a big impact right here in our own state and community. Amelia, it's so great to have you on the show today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here, and especially to be here in Lexington.
Yes, I hear this is your first time in the Bluegrass State.
It is, and I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the League of American Cyclists. You run a program, Bicycle Friendly America, which is part of the League. So why don't we get our arms around the League?
Sure. So the League of American Bicyclists is a national bike advocacy organization. We've actually been around since 1880, so definitely the oldest bike advocacy
That's a long time.
organization. Yeah. We were originally formed back in 1880 to advocate for the very first paved roads in the country, which I think is just such a great history.
No kidding.
So before there were cars, bicyclists were the ones saying, hey, I'd like a smoother ride, please.
Wow.
In fact, there's even a book written about the history of bike advocacy called Roads Were Not Built for Cars.
That is so interesting.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah, so I recommend that as a good read for everyone. And yeah, so back then we were a League of American Wheelmen. Today we're a League of American Bicyclists, and still fighting for the rights of bicyclists on Capitol Hill, working at the local level through the Bicycle Friendly America program. We have an education program that certifies trainers to teach bike safety in their communities. And yeah, we've done a lot of different things over the years to try to make the country, more bike friendly.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed since 1880.
Yeah.
Since 1880, but we still need advocacy in Washington, D.C. That has not changed.
Yep, absolutely. That is right.
So the League of American Bicyclists is advocacy. You have some great programming. We'll get into that. Let's talk a little bit about Bicycle Friendly America.
Yeah, so the Bicycle Friendly America program has become sort of our flagship program where we give out awards to communities, businesses, and universities. So they apply for that designation. We review them, evaluate them, give them awards if they meet the criteria, and we give everybody feedback on how to be more bike friendly. So the goal of the program is really to educate and encourage all of those entities to become more bike friendly and create a sort of national framework that everybody can use, sort of meeting communities where they are. So whether you're New York City, on the giant urban scale, or a small rural town, there's something for everyone. It's sort of the mantra of the program where
so you have standardized guidelines that can help communities become safer for a bicyclist.
Exactly. The framework we use, we call it the 5 E's. So engineering, education, encouragement, enforcement, and evaluation and planning. And I like to describe it as you really need a holistic approach using those 5 E's. Having really amazing facilities, but no education or no events. You
have to be well-rounded.
Exactly.
Well-rounded. That's easy for you to say. You know what I mean.
Yep.
Okay.
Well-rounded. It's true. Yeah. And so we've got communities, business, and universities all over the country that have participated in the program. And then the other part of the Bicycle Friendly America program is we rank all 50 states every other year. So we've been doing that for about a decade now.
So I have to ask, where does Kentucky stand?
So Kentucky, I'll admit, is not great on the ranking right now, but
we're going to do better.
Yeah, I'm really optimistic about sort of the direction Kentucky is going, especially with the recent Kentucky Bike Walk Summit. In 2017, which was the last time we did the state ranking, Kentucky was 43rd in the country. So there's a lot of room for improvement. And it is a challenging thing for states because if your state is making great improvements, but so is everyone else. The ranking may
You have to keep up with the Joneses.
Exactly. So that's part of our goal is we do want everyone to improve. And, we've tried to develop a platform that motivates and encourages every state.
And that is exciting that there are so many things that we can do And we have been doing so much more in the last few years.
Yeah, exactly. I think
like a radio show about bikes.
Exactly. We'll have to add a category on the Bicycle Friendly State Report card for our radio shows. Yeah, but things like the 3-foot safe passing law that recently passed in Kentucky, that's a really big deal.
So important.
Yeah. And that's one of the, what we call bicycle friendly actions that we want states to take. That's one of the 5, most important things that we've identified for states to do. So Kentucky didn't have that in 2017. It does now.
Now we do. That's a big step forward.
Yeah. So I think things like that, also the summit itself that just happened in Lexington.
We have some fabulous advocates who put that together, and just an outstanding event.
Yeah. And
a lot of outcomes are achieved, I think, as a result of that.
Absolutely. And I think the conversation is going to continue to go really exciting places.
Instigated a lot of conversation, a lot of work that's going to happen in the next couple of years, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Amelia, you have such a fun and fascinating job. Tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get into this role? Where did you come from?
Yeah, great question. It's a very roundabout story, which I guess is appropriate. But my background is in sustainability. I used to work for the Nature Conservancy at their headquarters in the DC area. I have an undergraduate and graduate degrees in variations on environmental science and policy, and sort of the sociology around environmental, sort of the human decisions that have environmental impacts was what I studied in undergrad. So behavior change is a really fascinating topic to me as it relates to behaviors that affect the environment. So transportation was obviously a really big category for all of that sort of background work that I was doing and my passion for sustainability. So on a personal level, when I graduated from college, I was looking to live car-free and, identifying cities where I could do that.
Already you had that bent.
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't necessarily that I, needed to be on a bike every day, but I did want to be able to set up a lifestyle for myself where I could get around without a car on a daily basis. So I'm very proud and I feel really lucky, fortunate to have managed that. But the bicycling career was a really interesting path so I was in DC for several years after I graduated from college. I got my master's while I was there, worked at the Nature Conservancy, and then my husband went to law school, and one of the schools we were sort of choosing together where to move to, and University of Illinois was one of his top picks, and so I was lucky enough to get a job there as sustainability specialist for the campus, and they had just gotten this thing I hadn't heard of before, bicycle-friendly university status from the League of American Bicyclists.
Interesting.
And so we got this feedback report from the League just after I started working for the university. It was this great menu of things to do for the campus to be more bike-friendly. And my boss at the time said, "Hey, Amelia, why don't you do all of this?" And so my job evolved from sustainability coordinator to the campus bicycle coordinator. And so I spent a couple years there on the campus working very hard to make them more bike friendly. And then once my husband was looking to graduate from law school and we were figuring out where we wanted to move next, we had our eyes on DC again, and my job at the League opened up. So I went
great timing.
Yeah, it was incredibly serendipitous. And I felt so fortunate to move from a program at the university level using the tools that the League had given me to then be the one, trying to disseminate the tools and best practices.
And so here you are.
Yeah, so here I am.
And we're going to save the surprise for later, but one of our universities that very close by just got a major award.
Yeah, very
major
exciting
recognition.
News for Kentucky. Yeah.
Big time.
Well, yeah.
And moving us up in those ratings again, probably.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. So stay tuned in. Welcome back to Bike Talk on Lexington Community Radio. I'm your host, Wanda Bertram. Today we're joined by Amelia Neptune. Amelia is with the League of American Bicyclists, and she's the Executive Director of Bicycle Friendly America. It's a great program having an impact right here in Lexington. And we've been talking a little bit about what the League of American Bicyclists does. Let's delve a little bit more into that. Let's talk about the organization first. How is it sustained?
Sure. So we're a nonprofit membership-based organization. So we are roughly 75 to 80% funded by individuals, individual members.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it really is. And I love that fact because it speaks to sort of who we are and who we represent. And it's the everyday bicyclist, whether you're the weekend warrior or riding to work every day. It's, everybody who ever spends time on a bike or wants to spend time on a bike, we represent them.
Or who benefits from the work
exactly,
that you do. If it weren't for them, you couldn't be supporting them and making their communities better.
Right. So like I said, we're primarily funded by individual members. We also have club memberships, bike shop memberships, business memberships, and we've had grant funding in the past. We're always going after new opportunities to find good funding to expand our work.
So how does someone become a member?
Yeah, so it's very simple. We've got an online form. For an individual, it's $40 a year, so it's pretty easy entry, and anybody can do it. Yeah, absolutely. We have family memberships too, 2-year memberships. We try to make it as easy and appealing as possible. I think we have a student membership level, so there's something for everyone in there.
Good. Yeah. All kinds of different levels. Everyone can play.
Yeah, exactly.
So memberships, you're sustained 75 to 80% that way. Mm-hmm. Very, very important. So everyone go online to the League of American Bicyclists. It's easy to Google and become a member.
Yeah, do it. Bikeleague.org. I think /join is our shorthand.
It's as close as we'll get.
Bikeleague.org.
Yeah. Let's get into the programs a little bit more because those are so critical in so many ways to this community. What about Smart Cycling? What is that?
Yeah, so Smart Cycling is our education program. It's a curriculum that we've developed over the years to teach people to ride their bike safely. So it's to introduce people who might be new to bicycling, and for the more advanced rider, it's rules of the road and safe handling. And if you take the full day 9-hour class, you'll be
ready.
Yeah, you'll be ready. So we do that through what we call the League Cycling Instructor program, where individuals can be certified as League Cycling Instructors, and that gives them access to all the curriculum so they can teach in their communities. And we've seen people take this curriculum and do really great innovative things with it. So some people are using it to teach second graders in the local public schools. Some people teach weekend classes for whoever wants to come. Some people do lunch and learns at local workplaces.
Teach to the cycling club.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of different uses out there for it. And one of the things I'm most excited about in the Smart Cycling program is this year we just launched the bicycle-friendly driver training. So all League Cycling,
I like that.
All League Cycling instructors, LCIs, are now equipped with the tools to teach bicycle-friendly driving to fleet drivers, transit drivers, any workplace that has professional drivers are great potential audiences for that. But also just, again, that everyday person who shares the road at any point with a bicycle.
Student drivers.
Yeah, first-time drivers, and that
start those habits early.
Yeah, absolutely. That curriculum was developed by one of our Platinum Bicycle-Friendly communities, Fort Collins, Colorado. And so they got grant funding to develop this great curriculum, and they've shared it with us so that we can take it national. So anyone who's a League Cycling instructor has the ability to go on and get that extra training on that curriculum and can bring it to their communities to teach.
So how many League instructors are there nationally?
So we are about to hit the 6,000 milestone.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Which doesn't mean that all 6,000 of them are currently active teaching, but 6,000 people have gone through the training and have been certified. And in order to maintain your certification, you have to be a league member in good standing and pay a $25 annual fee. And there are sort of ongoing, things like Bicycle Friendly Driver. When there are new opportunities for new curriculum, we have webinars regularly for LCIs to keep up to date on their credentials. But yeah, it's about 6,000 people. Like I said, we're about to hit that mark. Have
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, that begs the question, How many do we have in Kentucky?
About 20. I looked this morning and I saw 19 in our database. Yeah.
So there's a lot of potential
Exactly.
here.
Yes, there is a ton of potential in Kentucky. In order to become a league cycling instructor, we have LCI coaches who train. It's sort of a train-the-trainer program, and it's a 3-day training. And we're always looking for new partners to host an LCI seminar. Usually it's over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's some prerequisites for attendees, but if anyone listening wants to host an LCI seminar,
the door is open.
Yeah, we would definitely welcome that.
That sounds like something we may need to do to get those numbers up, because that's teaching cyclists and drivers now how to be safe and how to have more fun because you know you're safe.
Yeah. Being more comfortable. I took a smart cycling class from an LCI in Urbana, Illinois, before I worked at the league, and it really did a lot for me in terms of helping me be more comfortable on the road, understanding, there are so many misconceptions for people about what feels safe versus what is actually safe behavior. And so I see a ton of value in this program to bring bike safety to everybody and awareness to everybody, whether you're on a bike or not.
So we have the invitation for an organization, a cycling club, a business to host an event for Kentucky to help train people, or for individuals just to take it upon themselves to contact the league and say, hey, I want to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. We would welcome that.
And how do they do that if someone out there is interested?
Yeah, so again, if you go to our website, bikeleague.org, you'll find the smart cycling section of our website, and a ton of information on there about becoming an LCI, about hosting an LCI seminar. We also, our education director, Allison Dewey, is wonderful and welcomes phone calls and emails from folks who have questions.
I'm sure she would love to hear from Kentucky.
Yeah, everyone in Kentucky, email Allison.
Let her know we're out here.
So education@bikeleague.org is the general email inbox for that program. So feel free to reach out.
And in addition to that, the league also does a whole lot of stuff to promote cycling.
Yeah. So some of our encouragement programs include National Bike Month, which is May, and some states do their own bike month, like Colorado has June as the statewide bike month in Colorado. But we've tried to make it really easy for pretty much anyone to organize their own bike month events and bike to work day events. So National Bike Month is always in May, and Bike to Work Day is always the third Friday in May.
And Lexington has one of those.
Great.
So everyone can participate.
Yeah. And if you're in another community that doesn't yet have it, we've got a ton of resources on our website, including a Bike Month guide that has tips for organizing events. It's got sample proclamations that your mayor can make at the beginning of Bike Month, all kinds of great tools.
So that's for any community of any size.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think in smaller communities, Bike Month can have an even bigger impact, reaching more percentage of your population.
Right. Yeah. Working with the kids, teaching the kids when they're young and teaching the drivers to be aware.
Bike to School Day is a really common event that's part of Bike Month, and a lot of communities do several throughout the year, but especially in May if school is still in session. Yeah, so getting kids involved is huge. Getting people to try biking to work for the first time is it's an exciting opportunity for a lot of communities to think about bikes as transportation.
And creating that habit like you did, figuring out this worked really well.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think the single bike to work day is, a good introduction for people, making sure their bike is in good working order for that first ride. But then to really, like you said, create a habit, you've got Bike Month where you can create a series of events. We also have the National Bike Challenge, which is an online website where people can log miles and get points and be rewarded for regular riding. And so that's exactly the goal of that program.
And that's in the fall.
Yeah, so it's technically all summer long, but September is the big finale of it, where we've got this workplace challenge, Cycle September. The National Bike Challenge has been around for several years, and it's sort of moved around. We've tested out several different online platforms, and this year we're really pleased to be working with Love to Ride, which is the name of the site hosting the challenge, because they've been doing this for years. They know what they're doing. They've developed a really great system to encourage new riders and to reward people who are riding. and they've been awesome partners for the National Bike Challenge. So,
well, and I know a lot of organizations in Lexington participated in the National Bike Challenge. I was on the team for the Broke Spoke.
Oh, nice.
Go Broke Spoke. All right. We're going to take another short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Bike Talk on Lexington Community Radio. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Wanda Bertram. We're joined today by Amelia Neptune. She's with the League of American Bicyclists, and she's the director of the Bicycle Friendly America program. We've been talking about the League itself and what it does, smart cycling education, lots of promotional events all across the country. But Amelia, you also do a lot of work in advocacy too.
That's right. Yeah, we have 2 full-time staff. One does federal advocacy. She's an actual registered lobbyist. So we have a registered lobbyist on staff who spends a lot of time on Capitol Hill.
That's very helpful.
Yeah,
when it
it
comes
is.
to all of those issues.
Yeah, it's critical. And then our other policy staff, our policy director, is primarily focused on state and local policies. So we try to sort of bridge that gap between state, local, and federal policy and make sure that the 3 are working together well and that local communities know how to take advantage of things like federal funding that can go towards bike facilities, for example, and then obviously lobbying for more of that funding to become available.
And one of the things that you do to help all of the local states and local communities out is hold a national summit every year.
That's right. Yeah, this coming March of 2019 will be our 20th annual National Bike Summit in Washington, D.C. So save the date, March 9th through 12th.
March 9th through 12th.
Yeah. So yeah, the National Bike Summit is usually a several-day conference followed by a lobby day. So we invite people from all over the country. We try to get at least one person from every state to come, and we set up meetings for them with their representatives in Congress so that they can talk about the issues that are really important to them at home. So we usually have a few specific policy asks that we sort of give our attendees to, we give them the talking points and the training so that they feel comfortable in these meetings with Hill staffers. And
because that can be a very intimidating environment.
It can, yeah. If it's your first time doing it, it's it's a big deal. But I hear time and again from people who have just done their first Hill meeting on Lobby Day that it was one of the most empowering things they've ever done. And I love sort of just being around everyone on Lobby Day because the energy is so great and people are so excited to talk about these issues that are so important to them because it can feel very sort of high level abstract when you're just talking about policy, but when you get in the room with staffer who's actually from your hometown and knows the streets you're talking
about. There's a connection.
Or the local business that's a bicycle friendly business, or the intersection that is concerning, or the really great thing that you want to celebrate with them and talk about their favorite bike ride.
It's so important to thank them.
Yeah.
We have a lady here in Lexington, Dixie Moore, who just did a fabulous job, was responsible for getting the 3-foot law passing, and just worked legislatively for 3 years.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. She needs help. But she did a fabulous, fabulous job.
That's so great.
Once you cross that threshold and you realize what talking to a legislative person, whether it's an aide or a legislator, can do, it's amazing how far we can go.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And bringing those voices from all across the country to have a unified message saying this is important to us. We need, safer places to ride. We need better tracking of safety numbers. We need more dollars spent on things that help people get places by bike. And that's a powerful thing to bring together.
So what are some of the key issues at the national level that we're facing right now?
Yeah, so one really interesting one, feels like we're living in the future, is automated vehicles. And we have a action alert out right now about a law in Congress that touches on whether or not automated vehicles are required to pass vision tests, so proving that they can see bicyclists and pedestrians in the street. it seems far in the future to a lot of places.
But it's coming.
It's coming.
Faster than we realize.
Yeah, and there are a lot of communities across the country that already have these cars. At first glance, I think automated vehicles have a ton of potential to improve safety. All the concerns about distracted driving and drunk driving and, those sorts of issues, human error, you want to eliminate, the potential for those errors to cause harm. But obviously there's a need to make sure that the vehicles are just as safe, if not much, much safer than a human driver, as far as being able to see kid running after a ball in the road.
Absolutely.
Or those things. It's really important to make sure that these vehicles that several different companies are developing right now, that they're all required to meet standards of passing vision tests to prove they can see us.
Well, we'll have to keep our eye on that.
Yeah,
It sounds like it'll be interesting. Amelia, let's get into Bicycle Friendly America a little bit more right now. That's the program that you had. You had talked about building blocks.
Yeah. So the building blocks of a bicycle-friendly community, I mentioned the 5 E's: engineering, education, encouragement, enforcement, and evaluation and planning. So using that framework, we've identified for communities 10 things that are sort of the easiest to articulate for across those 5 E's and compare communities to each other that are sort of the most important things that seem to really have an impact on is change happening to become more bicycle friendly. So it's a combination of outcomes and inputs, if you will, in terms of policies, having a bike plan in place, having bike related staff in the, transportation or engineering or planning department, having a local advisory committee, bicycle advisory committee, local advocacy group, those kinds of what I think of as inputs of, all the things the community is doing.
And they're all measurable.
Exactly, yeah, they are. You can, we look at things like how much of your transportation budget is spent on bicycling. And since we started asking that question, that's a relatively new one on the Bicycle Friendly Community application, we've found that a surprising number of communities don't know. They don't really track that number. And so we're trying to encourage them to track that number so that we can see over time as this.
Because you're not going to grow that number if you don't know what it is.
Exactly, yeah. And if you don't have a dedicated budget for bicycling improvements, what does that say about how high this is on your priority list? So that's one measurable, easy, quantitative thing for communities to work on. And then looking at sort of the outcomes, we look at miles of different kinds of bike facilities, on-road and off-road. We look at bike education for children and adults. So a lot of communities are starting to offer bike education curriculum in schools as part of PE classes, for example.
And you have the tools to help them do that.
Yes, yeah, we have a lot of great tools, and the Bicycle Friendly Business Program has actually started to get a lot of applications from schools thinking of themselves that way as sort of the smaller entity than the community, both for their teachers and staff and for their students. So that's been an exciting sort of trend in the country where public schools, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, and school districts are embracing bicycling. So yeah, those are some of the types of things that we look at on the building blocks. And then obviously outcomes like ridership and safety numbers are really important to us. Ridership is very hard to measure and track consistently. So we use census data that is not perfect, and we know it's not perfect, but it's the only metric that's consistent.
It's a starting point.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good place to start.
Yeah, and then similarly, crashes and fatalities are difficult numbers to look at, but really important numbers to track. And
so you have these programs for states, for local communities, for businesses, for universities.
Yeah,
all of those. And you have award programs based on that. And the idea is to keep bettering yourself. Your community is going to get better. It's going to get safer. And you provide a system for them to work toward that. You have goals. And when they reach a goal, they reach an award level.
Exactly. Yep. That's precisely the goal of the program. And in fact, once you get an award in the Bicycle Friendly America program, you'll only have it for 4 years. So you're required to renew every 4 years. And we do that for 2 reasons. One, we know that things change. For example, bike share is the the poster child for things that didn't exist the way it exists now just a few years ago. So all of the communities that are currently applying that are existing bicycle-friendly communities, programs like Spin in Lexington, that technology wasn't even around when Lexington last applied
and
to the program.
And that's another new program that's come to Lexington in the last year,
right?
Which will help us increase our rating.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to take another short break, and we'll be back with you in a few moments. Welcome back to Bike Talk on Lexington Community Radio. I'm your host, Wanda Bertram. Today we're joined by Amelia Neptune. Amelia is with the League of American Bicyclists, and she's the director of the Bicycle Friendly America program. And it's having a big impact right here in our own state and community, isn't it, Amelia?
It sure is. And it's been fun to see the program grow in Kentucky. So Kentucky, as I mentioned earlier, is ranked 43rd in the Bicycle Friendly State program, but it's got some really great results in the community, business, and university programs. So there are 2 bicycle-friendly communities in Kentucky, and that's Louisville and Lexington.
Yes.
Lexington is a bronze level. They last applied in 2015, so they'll be up for renewal in 2019.
And a lot has happened.
Yeah, I think there's
I'm so excited to see where we land.
Yeah. I am too. So I think I'm excited to see that application come in. And Louisville is a silver. They just renewed the silver level. And, they're one of those great cases where they've been in the program. The first time they applied in 2005, they got honorable mention. Not everybody that applies gets an award. That's a really important thing for folks to know about the program. But everybody gets feedback and encouragement from us.
Which is what it's all about.
Yeah. Thinking about going from honorable mention to silver is a huge accomplishment.
Big jump.
Yeah. The sort of ongoing work that it takes to even maintain a consistent level when, the standards are evolving over time. When, we were talking about before the break with bike share.
It becomes a moving target almost.
Yeah. We try so hard to not let it be a moving target, but it's impossible to
because technology changes, laws change,
standards change, guidelines on what a good bike lane looks like changes. So, if you have 10-year-old bike lanes, they might not be up to standard anymore, and you might not be able to count them on.
You have to maintain those.
Exactly. So that's the other reason we have everyone reapply every 4 years, is to make sure they're still doing what they originally earned the award for.
No one's sitting on their hands.
And to keep up with all those rising standards across the country. So that's the community program. For businesses, Kentucky has 6 bicycle-friendly businesses. We just awarded 2 businesses that moved up from silver to gold. So Lexmark and Bullhorn, both in Lexington.
Those are all right here.
Yeah. And then
great organizations.
Yeah, they are. They really, and they're both really great examples of businesses that have, again, been in the program for a while and have moved up using our feedback and are just showing a great, ongoing dedication.
And they're so supportive of our community, and I think that's a reflection of them receiving those awards.
Yeah, absolutely. Another great gold in Louisville is Gresham Smith and Partners, which is a great planning firm that I know is involved in some of the wonderful facilities being built across the state. So there's some good work. The other thing I love to talk about in the Bicycle Friendly Business Program is that it's for businesses of all shapes and sizes. So our, Lexmark is obviously a pretty big company, a large organization. But our on the other end of the spectrum, Copperhead Consulting in Paint Lick, Kentucky, is a bronze level bicycle friendly business. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, they're basically a bat conservation organization, and they do a lot of really great work, biological related.
You have to love them.
Yeah, I do.
From a Nature Conservancy background.
I do. And their application was so fun because they were talking about, being in this small community and the impact they were able to have as a business on Main Street that, encouraged the post office to think about bike parking and that kind of thing. I think every community in Kentucky has something like that.
They need an advocate like that.
Yeah. And at the summit, we heard from some of these businesses on a great panel about bicycle friendly businesses. So there are some really great examples all across the state, and On our website, we have a lot of resources for new businesses thinking about this. Any kind of business is eligible as long as you don't work out of your home and as long as you have more than one person showing up every day. So it doesn't have to be a paid employee. If it's a volunteer-run organization, you're still eligible. So I definitely encourage anyone who's tempted to sign up their business. We have 3 deadlines per year for businesses.
So we really want to encourage organizations in our listening audience to look at that deadline, go online, and make your first application. And think about what you can do, like the company in Paint Lick, to really improve your community.
Yeah, and again, all kinds of businesses can do it. Broom Wagon Coffee and Bikes is another bicycle-friendly business.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, Broom Wagon.
They're a silver level here in Lexington.
Oh, they are so cool.
Yeah, and so, thinking creatively about who can be bicycle friendly, what kinds of businesses can be bicycle friendly, and partner up with these existing bicycle friendly businesses. We've seen a lot of great efforts in other parts of the country where chambers of commerce hold bicycle friendly happy hours with all the existing BFBs and invite newcomers to learn and be encouraged by their peers. So I definitely encourage Lexington and all across the state communities to be hosting those kinds of events and getting businesses to talk to each other and collaborate on things like lunch and learns about bike safety or bike maintenance. Fix a Flat workshop can be a great team building exercise for your employees.
Yes, empower. Again, it's an empowerment to be able to go out and do it yourself. So we have bicycle friendly states, communities, businesses,
Universities.
Yes.
Which obviously, coming from a university background, was my original favorite of the BFA programs. I don't think I can pick a favorite anymore, but it still has a very special place in my heart. Kentucky has 5 bicycle-friendly universities, and during the Kentucky Bike Walk Summit, we announced a very exciting development, which is the University of Kentucky moved up to the gold level.
Go UK!
Yeah, which is a really exciting...
On U of K!
And they're another awesome example where the first time they applied to the program in 2011, the first year the program existed, they got honorable mention. The next time they applied, they got bronze. The time after that, they got silver. And in 2018, they got gold.
Got that recognition, which we love. But underlying that, they've improved safety and they've improved lives.
Yeah.
They've improved our environment.
Absolutely.
They're teaching skills.
Yeah, that award really represents so much hard work and innovation on the campus. Their application was chock full of really cool ideas like the cash out program where you can, I might have gotten the name wrong, but they have a great program for people who have parking permits on campus can essentially get paid to give up their parking spot and, pledge to not drive to campus anymore. So really cool initiatives and programs like that. They also hired an alternative transportation manager, Sandra, in 2016, I believe. And
Sandra was instrumental in pulling off the summit.
Yeah. And so creating her position was a really great move that the university took between their silver level award and their gold award. I think dedicating the funding and the time to having that dedicated role is a really important step for universities that want to take bicycling seriously. As I think they've seen, it's had a really great impact in improving the campus. So
just on the parking issue, that has been a major problem for the university for a long time. That's perfect.
Yeah, it's such an economic no-brainer for me where the cost of having, these paved parking lots is enormous for campuses. I had one bike coordinator of another school tell us that the cost of each individual parking spot was about $80,000 per year. And so if he could eliminate one, he paid a salary. And if he could eliminate 2, that's, icing on the cake. So think about it. You can fit 12 bikes where you could fit 1 car. That's a win-win in terms of cost savings and increasing your capacity, increasing safety, increasing health and sustainability. I don't have to tell this audience why campuses should embrace it, but it's exciting. Yeah. Transylvania is another bicycle-friendly university. They're at the bronze level.
And Transylvania hosted the Bike Summit this year.
Yeah. So I told the hosts of the conference that I was really excited for their next renewal application because I can just feel from this conference that so much learning happened that I know pretty much all future Bicycle Friendly America applications coming out of out of Kentucky are going
to look a lot better, because Kentucky and Lexington has been working hard, and we're seeing so many improvements in this area. So Amelia, we're about to run out of time. I hate this because I'm enjoying talking to you so much, but there's so many ways that people can get involved with the League of American Bicyclists. I mean, and we've touched on just a few. They can become a member, which is so easy. And when they're a member, they have access to programs like Smart Cycling. So become a member. You can sign up as an individual to become an instructor. You can be an organization that can host a seminar in your community or state. You can become a bike-friendly business.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of different ways that folks can get involved, encouraging your employer, or if you own a business, to apply to the program. If you're a student, get your campus to apply. In addition to becoming a member, we, of course, really value that support from individuals all across the country. You can also just sign up for our newsletter, sign up for our action alerts so that we can tell you when really important policy things are going on, like that automated vehicle. I mentioned it was an action alert. That means you can sign up to tell your representatives in Congress that you care about this with a click of a button. So when other important issues like that come up, yes, please become a member, subscribe, join.
But at the very least, they can sign up for the newsletter. They can stay in the loop. They can be an advocate in their community and at the state level where they are all the time.
Yeah. I really think one of the most important things you can do is be an advocate at the local level.
That's where the rubber meets the road.
Exactly.
On bicycle tires and car tires, both. Well, Amelia, thank you so much for joining me on the show. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Don't forget to tune in to Bike Talk at the same time next week for all things cycling, helping you get out, explore our towns and countryside in Lexington and beyond. Thanks for joining us. Be safe and enjoy the ride. Bluegrass Cycling Club is proud to support Bike Talk as an underwriter for Lexington Community Radio. For more information, you may visit bgcycling.net.